All right, let's get to the big breaking news that's coming in at the moment. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has had a telephonic conversation today with the President of Iran, Masoud Pezeshkian. President Pezeshkian briefed Prime Minister Modi on the recent developments in West Asia and the way forward. Meanwhile, PM Modi has welcomed the understanding that has been reached, and he reiterated the need for continued efforts toward ensuring lasting peace and stability in the region. In fact, Prime Minister Modi has reaffirmed India's consistent position that all issues must be resolved through dialogue and diplomacy. The Indian Prime Minister emphasized the importance of sustained efforts to safeguard the freedom of navigation and commerce while promoting peace and stability in the region. Now remember, these talks come right ahead of the funeral of the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei that will be held, where Bihar Governor Syed Atta Hasnain and the Minister of State for External Affairs, Pabitra Margarita, will be representing India there at the funeral. So important conversation that has happened between Prime Minister Modi and President Pezeshkian. Let me quickly go across to my colleague Siddhant Sibal, getting us more details. Siddhant, this is a crucial conversation that has been held between Prime Minister Modi and President Masoud Pezeshkian. Get us more details. The Indian Prime Minister once again reiterating that dialogue and diplomacy is the way forward.
But a key conversation coming just days before the funeral of the former Supreme Leader Khamenei will start on 3rd of next month. Now, we know that during the conversation, there were three key aspects. The Iranian side briefing about the West Asia situation, their perspective. We know that the US and Iran have come to an understanding that was signed electronically earlier this month. Now, the second aspect is India's position. The Indian Prime Minister reiterating India's long-held position, a foreign policy element that we have heard several times from 2022 when the war in Ukraine started to, of course, earlier this year when the war happened in West Asia, the attacks on Iran. That is, dialogue and diplomacy is something that is the way forward. And thirdly and lastly, India's core priorities. Safeguarding freedom of navigation, that basically means that Hormuz should be open for shipping and commercial vessels. We know that there have been restrictions and it looks restrictive even as we speak. There have been vessels that have been coming towards India since the understanding was achieved, but there is a dagger still hanging, essentially impacting India's energy security. India, of course, in past several months since the war started on 28th of February, has diversified its energy needs, especially crude oil needs, but LNG still remains essentially fixed to the situation there. Of course, India has been getting LNG from other parts of the world as well. So three key aspects and key conversation ahead of the funeral ceremonies, where India will be sending the Governor of Bihar and the MOS in the Ministry of External Affairs, Pabitra Margarita, as we have pointed out.
Right, Siddhant, thanks very much for all those details. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressing support for dialogue and diplomacy as well as stability in the West Asian region to the President of Iran, also listing out the key concerns that India has as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned.